Hello BBN. Tyran Stokes, born in Louisville and the 2026 class consensus player, is narrowing his list of schools, and Kentucky seems to be gaining strength in his recruitment. And why is Kentucky the favorite? Let's look at it. There's a lot of expectation with Tyran Stokes, the #1 consensus player of the 2026 class. Born in Louisville, Stokes not only represents a rare jewel in the high school basketball scene, but also represents the possibility of further reinforcing the domain of Wildcats in their home state. Kentucky's geographical proximity and historical appeal make this battle of recruitment one of the most strategic of recent times. The choice of Stokes is far from merely technical. He seeks something beyond the superficial glamour of large universities: athletic and personal development, a vibrant environment inside and outside the courts, and the chance to compete against the best programs in the country. In this sense, Kentucky seems to fit perfectly into the view that Stokes traces for his career. The Wildcats program, known for their ability to cut talent and project them to professional basketball, offers exactly the type of platform Stokes want to explore. In addition, the fervent support from the Kentucky fans is a differential. Recently, Stokes officially visited Kentucky, and the signs are encouraging to the Wildcat fans. Analysts in high school recruitment are already starting to point Kentucky as the main probable destination for the young star. The visit, coupled with cultural and emotional proximity to his hometown, strengthens the idea that even though he is out of Louisville, Kentucky is still, in many ways, home. This emotional connection, coupled with the victorious tradition of the program, can be decisive in the decision-making process. However, the dispute will not be easy. Louisville, led by Coach Pat Kelsey, remains a formidable opponent in this central battle in the state. The rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville transcends the borders of basketball and extends to the hearts of Kentucky residents. For Stokes, choosing Louisville would be a declaration of loyalty to his most immediate roots, as well as representing an opportunity to build something new under Kelsey's command. However, Kentucky's gravitational force, both in terms of legacy and resources, is difficult to ignore. Arkansas and other schools are still in the dispute, but it is feeling that this is a two-sided game. And in this context, Kentucky has some clear advantages, starting with the program infrastructure, which includes state-of-the-art installations, experienced staff, and a network of former players who serve as successful models. In addition, the style of play proposed by Mark Pope, which combines offensive dynamism with an aggressive defense, is exactly the type of system that can attract versatile talent like Stokes. He would have the creative freedom necessary to evolve while contributing directly to the success of the team. If Stokes chooses Kentucky, the impact will be immediate and lasting. Its arrival would consolidate the Wildcats' 2026 recruitment class as the best in the country, further reinforcing Kentucky's status as an undisputed power in recruitment. More than that, it would be a symbolic blow to rivalry with Louisville, especially at a time when Cardinals try to get together on the national scene. Losing Stokes to Louisville, on the other hand, would be a significant setback for Wildcats, amplifying the recent rise of Cardinals. The question that hangs in the air is, Stokes comes to Kentucky? With all the elements aligned, tradition, proximity, competitive ambition, and the charisma of Mark Pope, the chances seem promising. But let's wait. Speaking of Owa, the protective boot viewed on Otga Owa's foot during Lexington Dirt Bowl, a brief glimpse that could have generated a wave of concern among fans, now reveals what it really is: a precautionary measure. In a world where a player's step is analyzed and each movement is scrutinized, the news that the finger injury is just a smaller setback. It's the kind of news that Kentucky fans, used to the adrenaline of seasons, receive open arms. Owa, a name that already represents, with promise and expectation, is in an upward trajectory. His summer was a showcase of his talent and dedication. Being between the elite in a camp organized by names like Chris Paul and Jason Tatum is not for anyone. It is an invitation that speaks in itself, a recognition that your game already puts you in a special category. The presence of representatives of all 30 NBA teams in the event underlines the seriousness and caliber of the reunited talent. Seeing Owa competing in open races against professionals such as Paolo Banchero and Ryan Dunn is not only a demonstration of his athletic ability, but also a foreshadowing of what is coming. Owa himself, with the maturity that characterizes him, expresses a feeling of familiarity and unshakable hunger. He is not content to be just good. He is seeking excellence. His mindset, focused on maintaining the same intensity and hunger that led him here, is proof that he understands the journey ahead. Coach Mark Pope, with his strategic vision and his approach centered on athletes' development, could not be more optimistic. His words about Owa are not just compliments. They are a promise that the player is in an environment that will encourage him to grow exponentially. Pope sees in Owa not just a player, but an evolving leader, a man marked with a ton of responsibility. For him, the opportunity to guide this growth is a gift. He sees the season that approaches not only as a series of games, but as a new chapter in Owa's evolution, one that will help him be an even better professional. The news of the injury, which for a moment has little warning, now serves to highlight the resilience and preparation of the program. With the return of players for the beginning of the semester of autumn approaching, the focus is firmly in the future. The story of Kentucky basketball, with Pope, seems to be a continuous growth, where even small setbacks are managed wisely. The Kentucky Wildcats' offensive line has been a major concern in recent years. But if there's one thing sparking optimism in Lexington for the 2025 season, it's Jaylen Farmer. A true freak of nature, as described by none other than David Gusta. Farmer is emerging as a central piece in rebuilding the Big Blue Wall, the traditional blue wall that defined the Wildcats' success in the past. Farmer isn't just a great guy on the field. He's a living example of what dedication and science can produce. During the offseason, he reduced his body fat percentage to 18.5%, an impressive feat for someone of his stature and position. This commitment to excellence off the field directly reflects his performance on the field. Farmer was one of the few bright spots on Kentucky's disappointing offensive line in 2024. He started all 12 games that season, allowing just one sack throughout the season and receiving a 99% blocking rating, numbers that speak for themselves. But what's most impressive aren't just his statistics or his overwhelming physical strength, but the maturation process he demonstrated throughout his first season as a starter. Bush Hamden, the Wildcats' offensive coordinator, highlighted this transformation. He's a player who, when he got here, probably didn't appreciate what it took off the field to put himself in the best possible position, Hamden said. From a nutritional standpoint, in the weight room and in recovery, he realized that things off the field matter just as much as things on the field. This awareness was crucial to Farmer's development, and he now presents himself as a quiet leader, someone who leads by example and with an unwavering work ethic. While Farmer isn't known for being vocal or loud, his presence on the field is felt by all. Willie Rodriguez, the team's tight end, summed up this influence well. He's strong, really strong, and I think he's grown a lot this offseason. He's just super strong. Lots of energy. I love that. I'm a high-energy guy, and he has a lot of energy on the field. When he finishes, he brings a lot of energy to the offense. This energy and raw power will be fundamental to Kentucky's game plan in 2025. Mark Stoops' best teams have always been built on a solid foundation of ground attack, something that can only be achieved with a dominant offensive line. Farmer understands the magnitude of this responsibility. "If you want to be good in this league, work hard," he stated. Offensive line coach Eric Wolford has been looking to bolster the group through the transfer portal, but Farmer has already established himself as a key piece of this rebuilding project. His ability to move the trenches and open up the field for the running backs will be vital to the team's success. Furthermore, his disciplined approach and continued improvement serve as an inspiration for the new players joining the program. The pressure on Kentucky's offensive line is enormous, especially after a subpar 2024 season. However, with Jaylen Farmer at the helm, there's reason to believe the Big Blue Wall can once again be an intimidating force. He represents not only the present, but also the future of the program. A player who combines exceptional physical talent with a professional mindset and an unwavering work ethic. All eyes will be on Farmer in 2025 and his fellow offensive linemen. If he can translate the potential he displayed in the offseason to the field, the Wildcats could not only regain their identity as a physical and dominant team, but also surprise many observers in the college football landscape.